Hi, welcome to my channel if you're new, and if you're not new, welcome back. So my name is Brianna, and today I'm going to be talking about living with your parents. Now, I'm going to specifically be talking about living with your parents through the lens of someone that just graduated college, or maybe you just graduated post-grad school, like some type of graduate school program. So basically, like living with your parents in your 20s, early 20s to late 20s. Living with your parents can be tough. And to all the people out there who, living with your parents is not tough, shout out to you. But I think the number one thing that I want to say when it comes to living with your parents after college or after grad school is don't be ashamed. Like, don't be ashamed of living with your parents after you graduate school. A lot of people do it. It's more common than you may think. It's normal and it's okay. Like, it's okay that you don't have your own place. It's okay that you need to save money. Like, living with your parents is a really great thing to do if you know that like you would just be struggling and living paycheck to paycheck every time. It's every month you're living paycheck to paycheck. Like, if you living with your parents is a great financial decision because it gives you time to save. It gives you that security to have somewhere to stay, have a roof over your head, have food on the table, and you're bringing in that income, but you're not like shelling it all out, right? Like, you have the ability to save. Okay guys, so I'm back. My camera died, but I was talking about the benefits of living with your parents, and a major benefit is that you are able to save money. You are able to bring in an income and not worry about having to pay rent at the first of the month. Hopefully your parents aren't charging you. If they're charging you, hopefully they're charging you like a discounted rate. I mean, I don't think your parents should charge you to live in their house. I just don't believe in that. Like, I believe that, parents, if you bring a child into this world, like, they're kind of always your responsibility. And that's actually a whole nother video that I am gonna make a video about, because I'm very passionate about like not kicking your kids out at 18, because it's so disruptive and like it is really hurting the Black community. But another topic for another day. You don't have to pay rent. You have minimal bills. Like, you probably still have bills. Like, you probably, pay your own phone bill, or, you probably have credit card bills or your car insurance. Like, you probably do still have bills, but you don't have to pay rent and like all the other bills that come with like either owning a home or having an apartment, like electricity or whatever. So be very, very grateful for that and really take that to your advantage and save as much as you can. Like, literally save as much as you can. I'm talking about, like, if you can split your check in half, like literally as soon as you get paid, like save half of your check and then just work with what you got off the other half of your check. Like, I would personally recommend that, because I feel like that's a fast track to saving your money, so that you can like be able to move out and have savings left over, and still not like have some savings left over. So I would recommend like saving half of your check, or saving like 1/3 of your check. Like, I know like people do recommend like the 50-20 50-30 rule, which is like 50% of your check should be going towards living expenses, so like rent, bills, what have you, and then 30% of your check should go to like spending, so whatever you end up spending on for the month, and then 20% of your check is supposed to you automatically save. So 50 living expenses, 30 spending, 20 save. But I personally like to do 50% save and 50% spend. And like that's, you know, that's because I don't have rent, so I can do that. But like, yeah, I kind of like, in my head, like me having the discipline to save half of my check is kind of like me, in my mind, that's like rent to myself. Like I'm paying myself. I'm paying myself rent every time I get paid. And that's how I like think about it. So, and the key to getting rich, like anybody, I don't know, I watch a lot of like, I watch a lot of YouTube videos on like how to get, not necessarily how to get rich, but like the mind of a millionaire, or like ways, you know, habits of millionaires, and like habits of like the wealthy and things like that. And a lot of those videos say that like one of the number one rules to getting wealthy is to pay yourself first. Like whenever you get paid, whenever you get some money, whenever you win some money, you gotta put a percentage up for yourself and pay yourself first. Then you pay all your other bills and whoever else you need to pay. But whenever you get a substantial amount of money, you need to pay yourself first and put it in your savings. But anyways, so living with your parents is really good because you can save your money, and then also you can spend time like with your parents. Your parents are only getting older. You don't know, you know, how much time that they have left on this earth. So it's really important to like just try to spend quality time. And you're actually really, really lucky that you're able to spend quality time with your parents while they're still here on this earth. And you know, you're lucky that, you know, you can still, you know, live with your parents, and like hopefully you can still tolerate your parents. Now I feel like, you know, there are gonna be times where like in your parents' eyes, you're still like, you're always going to be their child. So even if you're an adult, like they probably still look at you as a child, and they're probably not going to really respect you or your boundaries. So that's kind of something to talk about. It's like really like trying to let your parents know like where your boundaries are, and like trying to, if you have gone through a period where you moved out of the house and then you moved back in the house, it's like you're not going to be that same person that you were when you left the house. So it's kind of like your parents are going to be learning like this new version of you, and you may be learning like a new version of your parents. But you have to let them know that like, yes, I'm your child, and yes, like you brought me into this world, but like I'm also a human being, I'm also a person, I'm also an adult. I also deserve like respect, and I also deserve to, you know what I'm saying? Like you know, you have to have that conversation with your parents, and hopefully you have understanding parents and reasonable parents that will understand that like, you know, you're a human being that deserves respect and deserves to be, you know, talked to with respect, treated with respect, and you guys should be able to have like a cordial, respectful, reciprocal relationship. So that's definitely, you know, something that could come up depending on like the maturity level of your parent, or just, you know, the relationship that you have with your parent. But I know it's important to communicate about those things and just like kind of talk about those things, and make sure you also like communicate like what their expectations are for you around the house. Like, you know, if you're not paying rent, then do they expect you to like clean the kitchen every night? Do they expect you to take out the trash? Do they expect you to like clean the living room and the family room like at least twice a month? Like, I don't know, things like that. It's like it should be communicated. Like, you can't read your parents' mind and your parents can't read your mind. So it's like there may be like some expectations on you because you're living in their house as an adult, but it's like they haven't communicated that to you. Like they just expect you to do X, Y, and Z, but it's like that wasn't established. So, you know, make sure you kind of just have an open line of communicating, and that you both are able to, you know, receive what the other person is saying and have an open mind and open ears and listen to each other and be able to understand and receive what each other is saying, so that, you know, that will just eliminate confusion and, you know, any like conflict that may arise. So it can definitely have its challenges of living with, you know, when it comes to living with your parents, there can definitely be challenges. However, you know, you just have to really like think about the positives and think about like how grateful you are. Like some people, like, you know, it may be so toxic that like, you know, some people can't even like fathom living with one of their parents because of just like how toxic it may be. So if you have a parent where you can actually like tolerate living with them, then that's a really good thing, and that's something to be grateful for, that, you know, you have like a cordial relationship with your parents where you can, you know, afford to live with your parents for, you know, 1 year, 2 years to save up money so that you'll be in a good financial position once you move out. So all in all, I would say that like if you live with your parents, like don't be embarrassed, don't be ashamed. Like so many people do it, especially in this economy. Like this economy is like, it's just, it's rough. It's not the way things used to be. So like if you do have to live with your parents, like just to save, you know, a couple dollars, then so be it. Like so be it. So if you're, you know, you need to improve your financial situation and you're really trying to build and you're planning for the long term and for your future, then that's what you need to do. So don't be ashamed of living with your family or living with your parents. It is okay as long as you have a plan, as long as you are saving, and as long as you are sticking to your plan, and you know what you're doing. You know that you have a plan, and you know, in this amount of time I plan to move out, and you save up that money, you stick to it. Don't worry about your friends around you and what they're doing and how they're spending their money. Worry about you and your goals and how you're getting to the next level in life. So that's my advice to you if you live with your parents. Trust me, I totally get it, and there is nothing wrong with that at all. So that's my advice to you. Thank you so much for watching.